Hi everyone, it's Chloe. So the start of spring began on Friday, which means we're going to begin our springtime class finally. Spring involves a lot of twisting to detoxify the body, and we're also going to be working a lot into the obliques, so hopefully you enjoy class. So we're just going to come to a seated position, so making sure you're in a quiet place in the house, making sure you're comfortable. And I want you to really focus on connecting to the mat. So every part of the body that's touching the mat, really feeling yourself earthing and grounding. And then from the waist up, you're thinking about lengthening through the spine, growing nice and tall. Just allowing the eyes to close over. And as the eyelids close, make sure your forehead is relaxed. Eyelids are softened. Relax the cheeks. Avoiding holding on to any tension in the jaw. Back of the neck is long. Shoulder blades sliding down the back. And that space at the collarbones is broad and open. To allow the space for your breath. Avoiding hunching here to compromise that space for the breath. Just being as open as you possibly can. And at this point in the class, you can even set an intention for the class ahead. Whether that be mental or physical. And then once you've set that intention, I want you to just breathe in through the nose. And just let a big sigh out through the mouth. Using that sigh just to completely let go. And then just become aware of the breath. Becoming aware of the movement in the chest and in the abdomen with every breath in and out. And if you're familiar with Ujjayi breathing breath with sounds, begin to practice this. Softening the back of the throat to create almost that wave-like sound. And even if you're not familiar with your Ujjayi breathing, I want you to just imagine those waves crashing in and out. As you start to deepen the breath and start to lengthen the breath, you should be able to hear the sound at the back of the throat. Hearing those waves crashing in and out. And not only hearing those waves, but even visualizing them in your head. Having that image, that soothing image in the head. Allowing it to create a calming effect in the mind. And as your mind begins to quieten, notice how your body begins to relax, continuing to breathe in and out. Allowing every inhale to bring you energy into the body, and allowing every exhale to empty the body of that breath, to create space for new breath. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Just continuing with a few more rounds of breath. If it works for you, continuing to imagine those waves, or even just counting. Just making sure every inhale is just as long as every exhale. Just allowing yourself to be present with that breath. And then just very gently opening your eyes. Just taking a moment in the stillness. Becoming aware of how you feel. And as you inhale, you're just going to take arms overhead. As you exhale, release the right hand down onto the mat and take the left arm overhead, softening into that right elbow. Breathing in, rise fingertips up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, take the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Take the left hand behind and come into a gentle twist. Inhale to rise, arms back overhead, shoulder width apart. This time exhaling, releasing the left hand down. Take the right arm back overhead. Again, bending into this elbow. Breathe in to rise back to the center. Exhaling, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind, twisting here, making sure you're growing nice and tall. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, release the right hand down, again left arm overhead, seeing if the forearm can come a little bit closer towards the mat. Using your in-breath to come back to the center. Use your exhale to come back into the twist. Making sure you're twisting from the middle part of the torso, rather than just turning the shoulders. Inhale, drawing back to the center. Exhale, release the left hand, right arm overhead, again bending into that elbow. Drawing the forearm down towards the mat, grounding the right sit bone down. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, left hand releases to the right knee, twisting behind. Inhaling to the center. Repeating this one more time, so exhaling over to the right, bending the elbow, seeing if you can create more space through this side body. Drawing the forearm down, grounding the left sit bone down. Inhaling. Now twisting as you exhale, left hand behind, right hand onto the left knee. Still growing nice and tall. Inhaling, coming back to the center. Exhaling over to the left. Inhale. Left hand to right knee as you exhale and twist round. Inhaling, reaching to the center. And then just release your hands. Take your feet out in front. We're going to come in to a little bit of core work just to switch on those core muscles. So making sure feet are in front of you. Feet are just standing hip distance apart. Just place the hands to the backs of the thighs. As you inhale, grow tall, and as you exhale, just hang slightly further back. So you're coming on to the sit bones here. Now we're going to lift one foot up and then the other. So the shins are becoming parallel with the mat. As you exhale, tap the right foot down onto the mat. Inhale to the center. Exhale, left foot. Inhale to lift. Exhale, both toes touch the mat. Inhale, shins parallel with the mat. Exhale, right foot. Inhaling. Exhale, left foot. Inhale. So making sure you're really switching on the core here and you're not working into the hip flexors. So exhaling one more time, right foot. Inhale to lift. Exhale, left foot. Inhale. Exhale, both feet. And inhale, well done. Just cross the feet. Place the hands on the mat. And I'll just turn the other way so you can see me coming into plank. So again, we're switching on those core muscles and just feeling the shoulder blades retract down the body. From here, you're going to release the right knee down onto the mat, turning the shin so that it's parallel with the shorter end of the mat. Left foot comes onto the mat and take the left arm overhead. Now taking a moment here to stretch through the side body, making sure the knee is directly under the hip. And again, just drawing this right shoulder back. Release the left hand down onto the mat now. Roll onto the ball of the left foot. Rotate in the right knee. And then lift the left leg so that it's in line with the hip. From here, extend the right hand out in front. And just taking a moment here to make sure the left hand is directly under the shoulder. And then from here, you're going to take the elbow in towards the knee. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, drawing inwards. Inhale. Making sure you're keeping the back of the neck long. And this is just slow, steady rhythm of movement. Switching on those core muscles. Lengthening. One more time, exhaling. And inhale. Now from here, you're going to bend the left knee and externally rotating the right shoulder and take hold of the foot with the right hand. And now it's almost like this push and pull movement here. You're pressing the foot into the hands to draw the foot away to open out through the chest. One more breath in. As you breathe out, release the right hand on the mat. Now step the left foot through between the hands. Press into the right hand, send the left hand up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, release the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Press into that left hand, send the right hand up. As you exhale, release the hand down onto the mat, coming into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Taking a moment to exhale here, sinking down into the front knee, opening out through the hip flexor. Shoulder blades sliding down the back. Gazing up towards the ceiling if you can. Now take the gaze forward. You're going to tuck the toes under and lift this back knee off the mat, coming up into a high lunge, using your core there to lift up. Making sure all 10 toes are facing towards the front of the mat. As you exhale, release the hands down. Step back into plank. Drop down onto the knees, and as you exhale, lowering into chaturanga half plank, making sure elbows stay tucked in towards the chest. Inhale, coming up into upward facing dog. Taking a moment here, making sure you're resting in the tops of the feet. As you exhale, gaze over the right shoulder. Coming back to the center. And then over the left shoulder. Come back to the center. And then just rolling over the toes to downward facing dog. Sinking your heels down towards the mat, making sure feet are hip distance apart. Making sure hands are shoulder width apart. So it's really important in yoga to make sure we've got the correct foundation, allowing for the correct alignment in the body. You might want to pedal through the feet, bending into one knee and then the other. Continuing to press into the hands and just working on feeling the scapula sliding down the back to expand through the chest. Now you're going to come back into plank. Drop the left knee down onto the mat, rotate the shin so that it's parallel with the shorter end of the mat. Drop down onto this back foot, rotate through the right shoulder blades, and extend the fingertips towards the front of the mat. Lengthening through the side body, stretching through the obliques. Just taking a couple of breaths here, just allowing yourself to find a space in the body. Exhaling to release the hand onto the mat, rotating on the left knee and the ball of the right foot, facing towards the front of the mat, lifting the right leg, making sure hips are in line and extending the left hand out in front. Elbow in towards the knee, and then lengthen. So continuing to make sure you're using that right hand to stabilize you. You're using your core to stabilize you. And you're also using your breath. Drawing in. Inhale to lengthen out. One more time, exhaling. And inhale. Now bend the right knee. Wrap the hands around the foot. Press the foot into the hand and just allow your chest to open. Allow this left shoulder to retract back. A little wobble there. And then as you exhale, release the left hand down. Step the right foot through between the hands. Press into the left hand, right hand comes up. Expanding through the chest. Exhaling to release the hand to the outside of the foot. Press into that right hand and send the left hand up. Exhale to release. Using your in-breath, using your core, rise up into Anjaneyasana, sink down here. So really working on lengthening through the front of the torso. Coming into even a slight back bend if you want to. Still creating that bend in the front knee. Now gaze forwards. Tuck the back toes under. Lift the knee off the mat using your core to stabilize you. Settling here for one breath in. And then a breath out. Release hands either side of the foot. Step back into plank. Drop down onto the knees, exhaling Chaturanga Dandasana, half plank. Inhaling upward facing dog, bringing the chest through, bringing the hips through, resting on the tops of the feet, pulling up into the thighs. Exhale, taking your gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale to come to the center. Exhaling, taking your gaze over the right shoulder now. And then drawing back to the center. Drop down onto the knees, tuck the toes under, straighten the legs. Downward facing dog. Just going to stay here for a few breaths. Finding this balance in the posture. Between the weight distribution between both hands and both feet. Sinking your heels so far down towards the mat that your toes peel off. Pulling up into the thighs without the knees locking out. Straightening the arms without locking out the elbows. From here, you're lifting the gaze and bending the knees. Using your core to come through to the front of the mat in one big inhale. Exhale into Uttanasana, forward fold. So we're really drawing the navel inwards to create that space to fold forward. As you inhale, slowly come up to standing. Lift arms overhead, bring the hands together. Coming into a little twist here. So as you exhale, take the right hand back, left hand forward, gazing to the back hands. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, left hand back, right hand forward now. Inhale to the center. Bring the palms together in front of the chest, bend into the knees, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. So taking a moment here, making sure feet are together. Making sure the knees are together, sinking a little bit further down if you can. Connecting with your breath, pulling up into the thighs. Transitioning into Virabhadrasana 3 now, so all of the energy shifts into the right foot. Allow the left foot to just come an inch off the mat. So we're going to work on strengthening the legs here, so extend the left foot back. Take the torso so it's parallel with the mat. Try and even off your hips. As you exhale, you're going to bend slightly into that right knee. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale to straighten. One more time if we can, exhale. And inhale. This next time we're going to exhale down. Release the left foot down onto the mat, keeping all 10 toes facing towards the front of the mat. And inhale up into your high lunge. Taking a moment in this high lunge, making sure the hips are square at the front end of the mat. Making sure there's space between the ears and the shoulders. The spine is nice and long. Gazing forwards. Hands are as active as the legs, rooting down into the feet. Still connecting with that breath. As you exhale, take the arms to shoulder height, drop the foot down onto the mat, angling it in slightly so the toes are just a little bit further in than the heels. Gaze towards the right hand. So in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, we want to make sure our feet are about a leg distance apart. That gives you that space to sink down into the front knee. 90-degree angle in the front knee there. Torso is nice and centered. And just continuing to breathe. Now bring the hands together in front of the chest. As you exhale, you're going to take the right elbow towards the right knee. Inhale, use your core to lift to the center. Exhaling, elbow to the knee. Inhale to the center. Exhaling, using your obliques. Inhale. 2 more times, exhaling. And inhale. And again, exhale. And inhale. This time you're going to exhale, keeping the elbow in front of the thigh. And just hold it here. So really switching on that core stability. Feeling the strengthening through the legs. Inhale to the center, arms back to shoulder height. Rotate the right palm so it's facing up towards the ceiling, coming in to Peaceful Warrior. Sliding the hand gently down the leg. Gazing up towards the top hands. Still bending into that front knee. Inhale, Warrior 2. Exhaling, side angle pose, elbow gently onto the thigh. Left arm overhead. Rotating through this chest, making sure your heels still stay in line. Inhale, Warrior 2. Pick up the back heel, swivel on the feet, coming back into your high lunge. Then release the hands either side of the front foot. Step back into plank. From plank, you're going to lower the right knee down onto the mat, coming back into that modified side plank. So shin becomes parallel with the front of the mat. Drop the back foot down. And then take the left hand all the way up towards the ceiling. So again, beginning to switch on the obliques, making sure you're retracting this right shoulder back. 1 more breath in. Exhaling to release the hand down onto the mat. Swivel on the left foot. Step back into plank. From plank, this time choosing your chaturanga. So either drop down onto the knees or from straight legs. Lower the chest halfway down. As you inhale, rise up into upward facing dog, broadening through the collarbones, gazing all the way up. Exhale, downward dog. And just taking a moment, making sure you've got your correct foundation. Sinking the heels towards the mat, wrapping the tops of the arms in. Inhaling, rising your left foot up towards the ceiling. Draw the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, lift the foot up. Exhale, knee in towards the chest, shoulders above the wrists. Inhale. This time, bringing the knee in towards the chest. Step the foot through between the hands, press into the feet. Come back into that high lunge. And just taking a moment here, finding your stability. I'm going to come into a twisted high lunge. So extend the left hand back. Take the right hand forward and gaze to that backhand. So feeling this nice rotation through the torso. And then coming into Peaceful Warrior. Sliding the hand down the leg. Right hand comes up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Now palms come together in front of the chest. We're going to take the right elbow to the outside of the left knee and wrap around. So here we want to make sure the back leg is active. You can even gaze up towards the ceiling if you want. Still bending into this front knee. Trying to draw the right side of the rib cage back, forward, and the left side back. Now gaze towards the left foot. We're going to transition into a twisted chair pose. So hop the right foot to meet the left. And still keep that twist. So making sure the knees are in line. You're pointing the elbow up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, rise up. And then just flush that way with one exhale as you come into Uttanasana. Inhaling all the way up to standing. Palms together in front of the chest. Bending back into your Utkatasana. From here, we're going to lift the heels off the mat. So I want to get you to imagine that you're wearing a 5-inch pair of heels. So we're really lifting those heels up, activating through the legs, connecting with the breath, pulling up into the thighs. Lower the heels down, staying in that Utkatasana. Take the right foot off the mat. And then come into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Palms together in front of the chest now. Trying to keep your hips square. As you exhale, bend into the left knee. Inhale, straightening the leg. Exhale. And inhale. One more time, bending into that knee. Straightening the leg. This time exhaling, bending the knee all the way down, lower the back foot down. And come into your high lunge. Palms again rotating inwards, squaring off through your hips. Now as you exhale, Warrior 2. Keeping those heels in line, gazing towards the front hand. Taking a moment, exhaling here. Palms come together in front of the chest. Gaze towards the knee, and as you exhale, lower the left elbow towards the left thigh. Inhale to lift up. Exhale. And inhale. So we're still bending in to this front knee at all times. We're still activating the back leg as much as you can. 2 more here, exhaling. And inhale. Exhale. And inhaling. Take arms to shoulder height. Allow the right hand to slide down the leg, left hand comes up towards the ceiling. Still bending into the front knee. Inhaling, Warrior 2. Elbow onto the thigh, right arm overhead. Extended side angle pose, working on creating as much space as you can between the fingertips of the right hand to the outside of the left foot. Inhale back into your Warrior 2. Pick up the back heel, swivel the chest round, rise fingertips up. Exhaling to release the hands either side of the foot. Step back into plank. Now modified side plank on the left side, so drop the left knee down. Rotate on the left shin, drop the right foot down onto the mat. Extend the right hand all the way up towards the ceiling. And just taking a couple of breaths here. Finding that strength in your obliques. Working into the abductors. And then release the right hand. Swivel and ball the back foot. And then again, come back into plank. Lower the chest halfway down. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Taking a moment here just to release through that core. And then exhaling into downward dog. And again, just stepping your feet forward slightly if you need to. Inhaling, right foot comes up. Exhale, knee in towards the chest, shoulders above the wrists. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, strong breath. And exhale. Inhale one more time, coming into that 3-legged downward dog. Knee in towards the chest. Place the foot through. Press into the feet high lunge. Keeping those feet the leg distance apart. Twisted high lunge, swiveling that torso round. Gazing towards the back hand if you can. Activating through the back leg. And then allowing the right hand to slide down the left leg. Left arm comes overhead. Stretching through the torso. Inhale. Palms together in front of the chest. So now that the left elbow hits the outside of the right thigh. And we twist round. Right elbow facing up towards the ceiling. Continuing to twist. Continuing to reach the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Gaze down towards the right foot. Hop the left foot in. And sink down here, continuing to keep that rotation through the chest as we come into this twist, Parivrtta Utkatasana. Elbow facing up towards the ceiling, still knees still in line. Inhale. And then flush that out with one big exhale. From here, step back into plank. Nice strong plank, firming through the core. Now we're going to come into a downward dog, but you're going to tap the left hand to the outside of the right foot. So exhale. And then inhale into plank. Right hand comes to the left foot. Come back into your plank. So we're strengthening through the core here. Working into the obliques. Exhale. And inhale. Exhaling. And inhale. One more time, each side, exhale. And inhale. Exhaling. And inhale. Now walk the hands towards the back of the mat. Coming into a forward fold, this time at the back of the mat. And then use your in-breath all the way up to standing. As we bring the palms together in front of the chest, you're going to step the right foot forward and come into a high lunge. So again, in that high lunge, strengthening through the legs. Reach fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then making sure you're just shuffling that back foot back to make sure we can create that bend in the front knee. Exhaling to release the knee down onto the mats. Inhale to lift up. Exhale. And inhale. So the breath is as strong as the legs there. And we're not allowing the knee to touch the mat. It's just hovering. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And then back into warrior two. Drop the back foot down onto the mat. Heel is further out than the toes. Gazing towards the right foot. This time we're going to fly the warrior. So as you inhale, bring the arms overhead, allowing palms to touch. Exhaling, arms to shoulder height. Inhaling. And exhale. So every time we're bending into this right knee, 90-degree angle, knee directly above the ankle. Inhaling. And exhale. One more time, inhale. And then exhale to lower down. Finding your peaceful warrior. Left hand slides down the right leg. Left leg, right hand up towards the ceiling. Feeling this lovely stretch to the right side of the torso. Inhaling to lift to the center. Exhaling the elbow onto the thigh, left arm overhead. Rotating the torso round, gazing towards that top hand. From here, we're going to slide the right hand to the inside of the foot. Coming into Utthita Parsvakonasana. Drawing the right side of the rib cage through the left side of the rib cage back. Again, making sure heels are in line. Connecting the shoulder and the knee. Lengthening away with the fingertips of the top hands. As you exhale, release the left hand down onto the mat. Swivel on the ball of the back foot. And then lift the right hand up towards the ceiling. So we're coming into a twisted runner's lunge. Right hand is up, left hand is connecting down towards the earth, down towards the mat. From here, we're going to fly all the way up into a twisted high lunge. So taking the arms to shoulder height, torso is facing towards the side. And then coming into the peaceful rotation. Inhale to the center. Twist to the center now. And then release the hands either side of the foot. Step back into plank. And then just push back into downward facing dog. Walking the feet forward slightly if you need to. Sinking heels further down towards the mat. And just taking a few moments, using this as your resting pose. Pulling up into the thighs. If you've got tightness through the hamstrings, so just bend into the knees. So making sure that you're not compromising that straight back by trying to straighten your legs. Now from here, walk the hands all the way to the back of the mats. And then inhaling to lift up. Hands together in front of the chest. As you do this, step forward with the left foot. Again, just adjusting your feet if you need to. And just taking a moment. Finding the strength in this posture. Reaching fingertips up towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, lower the knee down onto the mat. Inhaling. And exhale. So really connecting with your breath. Using every in-breath to lift up. And every exhale to sink a little bit further down. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhale. Keep reaching those fingertips up towards the ceiling, so strengthening through the arms. And then dropping into your warrior two. Again, just making sure those heels are in line. Sinking down into the front knee so that the thighs parallel with the mat. Tucking that tailbone down. Making sure the torso is centered again. Palms are facing down towards the mat. Inhale, straightening the leg. Exhale, sink down into the knee. Inhaling. And exhale again, 90-degree angle every time you bend down into the knee. Inhale. And exhale, making sure you're keeping the back leg nice and active. So you're pressing into the knife edge of the right foot. Exhaling. And inhale. Exhaling, lowering down, holding it here. And then finding your peaceful warrior. Right hand slides down the left leg, arm comes overhead. Inhale to the center. Extended side angle pose, elbow onto the thigh. Extend the arm all the way overhead. Again, finding as much length as you can through the side body, between the fingertips of the right hand to the outside of the right foot. Try not to allow the arch of the left and the right foot to drop down towards the mat, and try not to grip on with your left toes. Release the left hand to the inside of the left foot, keeping the bend in the front knee, keeping the activation in the back leg. And continuing to swivel through the chest. Try not to allow the chest to collapse. Release the right hand down onto the mat. Now pick up the back heel. And then extend the left hand all the way up towards the ceiling as we come in to that twisted runner's lunge. And as you do, again, we're working in this retraction through the shoulder. Press into the feet. And then come into that twisted high lunge, gazing towards the backhand. Swiveling through that torso. Activating through the back leg. And then release hand down the side. Take the right arm up. Inhale. Rotating through the torso, extending. Fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale to release the hands. Back into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward dog. Drop down onto the knees, bring the big toes together. And come into Balasana, child's pose. And just walking your hands away, but sinking the sit bones towards the heels. Just surrendering your forehead down onto the mat, melting the chest down onto the mat. Connecting with that deeper in breath and deep out breath. And then from here, come back into your all fours. Tuck the toes under, straighten the legs, downward facing dog. Inhaling to lift the gaze. Bend the knees. Step through to the front of the mat. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rising all the way up to standing, bring the palms together. Now take the thumbs to heart center. As you do, we're going to bend back down into the knees, finding your Utkatasana chair. So making sure you're using all four corners of both feet. Chest is nice and open. Now as you inhale, lift those heels off the mat again. Engaging through the thighs. And then as you exhale, you're going to start folding from the hips to bring the torso towards the thighs. Keeping those heels off. If you can, you might shake through the legs. I certainly am. Release those heels down, bring the torso back up. From here, we're going to bend down to the knees. You're going to bend so much, you might need to take your knees a little bit wider for that. So much that your sit bones come down onto the mat. And then take the hands to the backs of the thighs. So we're coming into the Navasana now. So making sure this core is nice and strong. The shins are parallel with the mat. Lengthening out through the crown of the head. Hands to the backs of the thighs for stability. You might even be able to take your hands away from the legs. Chest nice and open. Bring the palms together. So again, incorporating these twists into class. We're going to take the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh and twist round. Inhale to come to the center. Exhale over to the left side, so right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale to the center. Exhale over to the other side. So working into the obliques again to the center. This time when we come over to the side, we're going to hold. So strengthening through the core, lengthening through the spine. Try not to allow the spine to curve. Draw back to the center. Now over to the right side. Again, spine is lengthened. We're twisting here. Shins stay parallel with the mat. And then come back to the center. Release the feet down. Take the hands to the backs of the thighs. Just cross the feet now. Place the hands out in front. Step back into plank. Now we'll probably need a nice upward dog here just to lengthen through the core. So drop the knees down. Lower that chest halfway down. Inhaling upward facing dog. I'm just taking a moment here in this upward dog. Gazing over your right shoulder. Come back to the center. Gaze over the left shoulder. And then come back to the center. As you exhale, come into downward dog. Again, making sure those feet are hip distance apart. Take shoulders above the wrists into plank. Now take the left hand to the right ankle. As we come into that twisted downward dog. Release back into plank. Twisted downward dog on the other side. Right hand to the left ankle. Exhale to release. Inhaling. And exhale. Using the obliques, exhale. Inhale. And exhaling. Inhaling, left hand to right ankle. Drawing back. One more right hand to left ankle. And then release into that plank. Press into downward facing dog. From downward dog, we're going to take the right foot up towards the ceiling. Keeping your hips square with the mat. And trying to sink the heel down towards the mat. So we're sinking this left heel down. Peeling up into the thigh. Pressing into the hands. Opening up through the armpits. Draw the knee in towards the chest. Place the foot through between the hands. And then from here, press into the feet. Come up into a high lunge. This time as you exhale, you're going to lower the knee about an inch off the mat. And we're going to hold it here for one breath in. A breath out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then come into warrior 2. From warrior 2, you're going to lift the right heel off the mat. And again, trying to keep the bend in the front knee. Trying to keep the activation through the back leg. Pressing into the knife edge of the left foot. Lower that back heel down. And then come into peaceful warrior. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, elbow onto the thigh, left arm overhead. Knee directly above the ankle. Inhale. And then coming in to your high lunge. From your high lunge into that twist. Gazing towards the back count. Again, we're making sure we're twisting from the torso rather than just gazing behind. So it's almost like we're rinsing out all the toxins from the internal organs. So we're going to gaze down towards the mat. Place the left hand onto the mat and take the right arm overhead, coming in to our twisted runner's lunge. Release the right hand to the outside of the right foot. Step back into plank. From plank, a couple of options here, either coming into your modified side plank with the knee down onto the mat, or coming into a full side plank, Vasisthasana, coming onto the knife edge with the right foot, and then rising, the left hand up towards the ceiling. So again, working on this retraction in the right shoulder, feeling the top of the humerus coming into that shoulder joint. Strong core. Release the hands down. Come into plank. And then exhale into downward dog. And you can even just take a big exhale out through the mouth. Using that exhale just to release anything there. And then from here, rise a light, lift it up. So we're holding this three-legged downward dog position. Again, sinking the right heel down. Pulling up into that thigh. Sending the leg up as high as it will go. Draw the knee in towards the chest. Place a foot through between the hands. Press into the feet high lunge. From the high lunge, making sure you've got your stability. As you exhale, lower that knee down. And just before it reaches the mat, we're going to hold. For 1, 2, 3, making sure you're still breathing. 4 and 5. Press into the feet, strong core, rise up into warrior 2. Swiveling through that back foot, gazing towards the front hands. And then coming into peaceful warrior. Left hand up towards the ceiling, right hand slides down the leg. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, extended side angle pose. Right arm overhead. Rotating through the torso. Inhale. And then finding your high lunge on an exhale. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, come into that twist. Twisting through the torso, gazing towards the back hand. And then release the right hand down onto the mat. Left arm comes overhead. Twisted runner's lunge. As you exhale, release the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Step back into plank, strong plank here. From plank, either coming into your modified side plank or coming all the way into that full side plank, Vasisthasana. Rolling onto the outside of the left foot, either stacking your feet or taking one in front of the other. And rising the right hand up. Pulling up into your thighs to straighten the knees, to straighten the legs. One more breath in. As you exhale, release the right hand. Come into plank. And then downward dog. Another big exhale out here. From here, we're going to lift the gaze. Bend the knees. And either jumping or stepping or walking to a seated position on the mat. Extending the feet out in front. So coming into our seated postures now, beginning to come to the end of the class. So making sure you're on the sit bones, just peeling out any fleshy parts if you need to. And then from here, we're going to bend the right knee. So we're bending the knee to place the foot to the inner thigh. Making sure you're sitting up nice and tall. We're going to come into Marichyasana C. So extend the left hand up towards the ceiling. Place the right hand to the back. You're going to bend the elbow here, taking the elbow to the outside of the right knee and twist round. Now when we're in this twist, you want to think about activating through the left leg, drawing the heel away from your toes, pointing up towards the ceiling. And just like I've said before, we're thinking in these twists to draw through that torso rather than just gazing behind. So it's all about rotating around in this ribcage. And then as you exhale, release to the center. Place the left hand onto the mat, Marichyasana A, extending the right hand forward. So making sure we've got this length here. We're then going to connect the armpit and the shin and draw the right hand back. So this might be enough for you here, just working on opening through the shoulder, or you might be able to bend the right elbow and then take hold of the right hand with the left hand. So thinking about connecting your core, opening through the right shoulder, still activating through the left leg. And then as you exhale, release the hands, extend the right foot forwards. Coming into our Dandasana. So when we're in Dandasana here, I always feel like this is the most deceiving posture in yoga because it's a lot harder than it looks. We're strengthening through the thighs, so we're really engaging through those thighs. It's also the only posture in yoga where we also lock out the knees. So working from the feet up, we're flexing those feet, drawing the heels away, then pulling up into the kneecaps, pulling up into the thighs, working every tiny muscle around those kneecaps. Making sure the hips are square. And the rib cage is open, the chest is open. And then lift the hands up. As you exhale, you're going to fold from the hips. Imagine I'm pulling your hands away, so we're creating that length. And then we're just catching wherever we can and coming into forward fold. Feeling that lovely stretch through the sacrum. Using every exhale to sink a little bit deeper down. So every inhale, we're almost coming out of the posture. And every exhale, you're just sinking a little bit further. And then release the hands. Gently uncurl your spine. Coming to the center. Now we're bending the left knee, placing the foot down onto the mat. So growing nice and tall here. Placing the left hand behind, rising the right hand up towards the ceiling. Marichasana, seat elbow to the outside of the knee, twisting right. And again, retracting the left shoulder. Pulling up into the right thigh. Flexing the foot. Rotating further around. As you exhale, draw back to the center. Placing the right hand onto the mat, now extend the left hand forward. Begin to connect the shoulder or the armpit and the knee and draw this left hand out to the side. If this is all you can do, then just stay here or bend the left elbow and connect the right hand with the left. Keeping that spine long. Lengthening with the crown of the head, so reaching the crown of the head forward. And then release the hands. Allow the left foot to meet the right. One more time, lifting up, preparing for Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Exhale, releasing there. And just a few breaths. When we're coming into a forward fold, it's called a fold because we literally are folding from the hips. We don't want to see this arch through the back trying to get further forward. It's about lifting and then lengthening. So creating this space between the top of the hip bones and the bottom of the rib cage. And that allows you that space to fold a little bit further forward. Bending your knees if you've got tightness through the hamstrings. And then release the hands. Slowly bring yourself to the center. Coming into Baddha Konasana now, so bring the soles of the feet together, wrap the hands around the feet. So making sure you're nice and tall here. And you can even use your elbows. Using the elbows to the inner thighs just to peel those knees further towards the mat. And you're going to take an inhale to lengthen. And as you exhale, just extend the head towards the feet. Keep working through those inner thighs. Sending the knees closer towards the mat. And then just release. Going to transition into Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're going to keep the feet exactly where they are. Take the hands behind. And just draw your sit bones further towards the heels. And begin to walk the hands back. So we're walking the hands back here again, continuing to draw sit bones towards the heel until your back comes all the way on the mat. So we can take our hands to the inner thighs here. And just draw the knees further out to the sides. And just close off your eyes. Close off the eyes and allow the weight of gravity to draw those knees further towards the mat. And every week you do this, you'll notice your progress, you'll notice that space decreasing between the knees and the mat. Making sure the chin is tucked in towards the chest. And just feeling yourself melting into the mat. And just a couple of more breaths here. Further releasing through those inner thighs. And then place the hands either side of the thighs, draw the knees to the center. Bring knees in towards the chest, clasp the hands around the shins. And then just let go there. So it's now time for Shavasana. So making sure you're popping on any layers. And just finding that comfortable position lying on the mat. So just get a nice relaxation zone. There we go. So just even grabbing a blanket if you've got one handy. And lying down on the mat. And closing off your eyes. And extending the feet to each corner of the mat. Placing the hands either side of the hips. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. Placing those hands a couple of inches away from the torso. Each shoulder blade tucked in. Chin tucked in towards the chest. Creating that nice space for the back of the neck. And just take a deep breath in through the nose. And just let a big sigh out through the mouth. Using that sigh just to completely let go. Let go of any tension. Just letting go of anything you're holding on to. Not only physically, but mentally. And as you just let go whatever you are holding on to, you can just feel that wave of relaxation just traveling around the whole body. And just becoming aware of the breath. Not controlling the breath, just becoming aware of it. Becoming aware of the movement in your chest. Becoming aware of the movement in your abdomen. Noticing any pauses between the breath. And as your breath just naturally starts to move around the body will begin to relax. And you can come back to that wave image that you focused on at the start of the class. Visualizing those waves in the head. Crashing in and crashing out. And if you're imagining those waves, you might imagine yourself on a beach, lying on a beach, sun overhead, feeling that warmth from the sun. Feeling it warming your whole body. Feeling that warmth in your bones. Feeling your body relax. Imagining how you'd feel at that beach. Worry-free. Stress-free. time in Shavasana is like that time in the beach. Is giving your body that nourishment, giving your body that break to just let go and relax. Now, if you've got longer, you can stay here for as long as you want. If it's time, just start to wriggle the fingers. Start to wriggle the toes. Lift the arms overhead and just take a moment to take a big stretch here. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Curling up into a little ball. Roll over onto your right side. Taking as long as you need to there. And coming up to a seated position on the mat. So keeping your eyes closed or your gaze down. Taking a few moments here. A few moments in the silence, in the stillness. And then take arms overhead. Bring palms together. Allow the thumbs to rest in the crown of the head. Take them between the eyebrows to the third eye. And then to the heart center. Bowing your head. Om Shanti. And thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed your class.